live on YouTube.
Okay. So I will be let people in. Okay.
No.
Not yet.
No.
Okay.
It's admin work. Please do not touch the yes. No.
No, I didn't.
Oh no, sorry. A few moments time like we, because I'm both on YouTube and here. Okay. I think we're all set. Just a moment.
Prof. Kazem, do you want me to share the video as well?
Yes. And as I told you, click on the boxes, right? But I think it's okay now.
Now it's okay. Can you hear? I want to make sure that this is be here. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, good. Just a moment. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Scott, or welcome back to Scott again. Thank you very much for being with us today with volume 40, which has a spatial look on health and wellness tourism. Today, we are going to focus on beauty tourism that you might have been a customer for it, but you haven't seen a dialogue concentrating on this topic directly. Our moderator today is Professor Wong. He is an economist and a group CEO of Oriental Group and the distinguished scholar and corporate leader. He is director to E+ Limited and independent director at Watermark Ltd. Professor Wong has a very vast background on health and wellness tourism and the service quality in a specific area of beauty tourism. On behalf of Scott, Professor Malcolm Cooper is going to give us a welcome remark. Professor Cooper, floor is yours.
As long as I remember to unmute myself, we're fine. Thank you very much, Professor Kazem. Welcome to everybody currently in the participants room. We have over 50 people already. We have an interesting YouTube for everybody as well. So I'd like to introduce this webinar. As I will say in my final comments later, health and wellness tourism has been incredibly important. It's growing in size, it's growing in stature. And within that, there is a very much an idea that mind, body, spirit is the most important attribute of virtually anything in relation to human beings and their their health. So I'm very much very pleased to welcome all the participants in discussing the question of beauty from the point of view of health and wellness tourism as an important part of that approach to understanding tourism, understanding smart communities in tourism. Beauty therapy has been around for a very long time, and it is embedded in those communities. So as Professor Vafatari said, you've possibly come across it before. If you have, let's try and work out how we can make it more successful, especially in the academic area. Okay, so
thank you, Malcolm.
what do I do now? You hereby declare.
Thank you, and so
open.
Yes, as Cooper Sensei, Malcolm mentioned, yes, it's beautification of spirit, mind, and body, and beautification itself is healing, and we are going to start this healing process by hearing the concept and conceptual framework of this by Professor Wong, who will moderate the webinar today. Professor Wong, you are the boss of today's webinar, so I'm going to give the floor all to you, and we promise to be a good or many good students for you to learn a lot. The floor is yours. Dozo in Japanese.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Arigato gozaimasu. At least I'll speak a little bit of Japanese. Thanks, Prof. Kazim. I mean, I'll be a boss for a moment. This is your forum. Scott belongs to you and your team. I just take it for a moment and appreciate the opportunity and the interest taken by Scott in beauty tourism, something that me and my colleagues has been working on for many years, actually. It's almost 7 years already. And I'm happy that we have this forum so that we can actually share my side from academic point of view and also from the industry point of view later with my colleague. Of course, with me here, I have Datuk Rashidi, a very important person. Datuk Rashidi is the former Secretary General of the Ministry of Tourism, the #1 person, and he is definitely not new. He has been like termed as the icon person for the Ministry of the tourism industry in Malaysia, and is very well known in the world too. So we will join him. I mean, he will join us talking about his experience working together, with us, how we can we take this beauty tourism forward. And of course, there are two more persons to address here is Dr. Shadi and Dr. Abi, who is also very important in taking on this beauty tourism on the ground, which they will be sharing some of their experiences with us today. Well, let me start with my slides here. Shadi, if you can put up my slides. Yeah.
Professor Wong,
yes,
I'm sorry to interrupt you, because you already allow me to jump in sometimes. I would like to ask you for a bit slower presentation for translation time.
Okay.
Yeah, we have 2 translation rooms, and it might affect the quality of translation if we go very fast. Thank you so much.
Excellent. I will do that. Okay, thank you very much. I apologize earlier. Yes, today I thank again for Scott for allowing us this opportunity to talk about this topic on beauty tourism. In fact, I like to share it as BNW tourism. So it's like beauty and wellness tourism. Okay, and I would like to come with the perspective from an economic point of view, because I believe that this is a very important angle for us to touch on when we talk about beauty tourism. Okay, can I move on to the next slide, please? Next. So great. What catches my attention from the very beginning is there are actually very little that has been talked about with regards to this industry specifically, even though it has such a vast community, a very vast community in the world that directly involved and indirectly involved and impacted by this industry. Okay, and we all know that this is big and a big industry that affects a lot of people. And what took me the interest on this is when I first met Dr. Rashidi, who is then the Secretary General of the Ministry of Tourism in Malaysia. I asked Dr. Rashidi one question. I asked him, which ministry is taking care of this beauty tourism and the community of beauty tourism? The answers, he couldn't give me a direct answer then, and we were talking about other sectors. He mentioned about health tourism, he mentioned about wealth tourism, health tourism, medical tourism, and he also mentioned about complementary medical tourism. There are many, but the funny thing is that there's no one ministry in Malaysia, okay, who is the caretaker of the ministry of the beauty tourism. Okay, that strikes us, and that's make us kind of interested in talking further about this industry. The next slides that I'm going to show you here is that if we look at the.
I'm sorry, Prof, to disturb you. I think is something technical happens to the slide. That is the crossing there. I think the Scott team will help us for that. I don't know what is this coming from.
No worries. The cross, I'm not sure where it comes from, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't affect us too much. So if we look at this diagram here on the projected average annual growth rate of the different sectors of this industry, one broad things that we can observe here is that the overall growth rate of the wellness economy is almost at 10% annually. And this exceeds the global GDP at about 7.3%. That tells us that this industry is very significant, and if we allow it to grow for a couple of more years, it will be one of the leading industries in the world. We cannot neglect this industry anymore. And I believe that there are many sectors, many organizations in the world do already started taking notice of this. But the problem that we foresee here is that what I have just said earlier, that is that when we asked who is taking care of this community of beauty tourism specifically, all right, I believe that there's not only Malaysia, or I believe there are more countries in the world, all right, would not be able to give us a direct answer, as in who is the caretaker of this particular sector or industry, which is beauty tourism. I think that is the key point that I'm trying to address. Now, if you move on to the next slide, we have three fundamental questions to answer. If this industry is big and is growing so fast, and the most importantly, there's no one can give a direct, or many countries cannot give a direct answer, okay, to these questions, all right, or the ownership of this industry belongs to which ministries or agencies, then we have something to concern about. What that we are concerning about? We're concerning about the control. We're concerning about the sustainability of the growth. We are concerning about who looking after the beneficiary of this industry, right? So these three fundamental questions that I would like to address here demand us, call upon us to look for the proper accurate definitions of beauty tourism. Until we have the proper beauty tourism definitions, we will not be able to move correctly and address these issues correctly. Okay, so if I can have the next slide. So I went on and looked at the different definitions that we have already, which regards to health tourism, medical tourism, and wellness tourism. And I found that these definitions exist within the UNWTO. It gave us the health tourism, medical tourism, and wellness tourism. If I may just share very briefly, because I'm not going to go in details of it and discussing about these three. Okay, we have health tourism. Next slide, please. We are given definition of medical tourism, and we are also given the third one, which is the wellness tourism. Study. Can we go down? Right. So then the question is, have we got one for beauty tourism? Right. There are many agencies, including academics around the world, I believe, that are still in search of this. But more importantly today for this webinar, I think it allowed us to go a little bit more in depth after listening to the government representative, a point of view with regards to these definitions. We can then further delve in, okay, on this particular aspect of beauty tourism. Charlie, if you can go next. Okay, if you go on there, yeah, can you go up a bit? Yeah, there you go. Oh, stop there. That's good. That's good. That's good. So the economic questions that I'm trying to explore here, with regard to control, sustainability, and beneficiary of this industry. Why these three questions are important? It's because it has its implication. Until we have a clear definition of beauty tourism, we will not be able to address these important aspects or areas of concern. First of all, about governance. We don't have the straight answers in many instances, in many countries that we go. Who look after beauty tourism and who look after the beauty community in the industry? Which ministries, what law, what licenses and agencies that we have in place? The government, the leader of the government, needs a proper definitions that once recognized, so that they will be able to assign, the ownership of this industry with the respective government agencies or department. Until then, we will not be able to talk about the policy, because if we don't have a proper caretaker for that particular sector, we will not be able to talk about policy. And if that is the case, then there will be a missing link in the entire economy, whereby budgets will be a big question mark to promote this industry, the guidelines, the standards, and so forth. So this will be also missing. And this will be the big gap in the economy that one manages. And furthermore, the interest, okay, of the community, okay, the interest of the community, okay, which is directly affecting their income and their livelihood. All right, issue about tax, subsidy, incentive, finance, and infrastructure allocation to the community of beauty tourism is the next questions that we have. Is a very important questions, economic questions that we have to address. So it all boils down to one very important aspect that we have to all have a global understanding, a global acceptance of what beauty tourism is. So I offer, but not definite, because Professor Malcolm is here. He has spent a lot of time, okay, researching on this topic, and surely we will have his view later in this webinar. But for us to work on and to serve the purpose of this webinar, let me introduce a quick way to understand beauty tourism. Shadi, if you can go down a little bit more so that we can see the slide. Oh, Shadi, I'm going back up. I need to just the beauty tourism. Okay, all right, there you go. It says beauty tourism. Shadi, I think there's one line missing in this. Just slightly up. Yeah, just slightly up, Shadi. I will need to see the last line of the slide. Yeah, beauty tourism as beauty motivating travel people traveling for specialized beauty services and treatments to another country other than their own to obtain beauty treatments. Okay, but let us all agree, to take this as the working definition for the purpose of this webinar, so that we can explore further in this webinar if times permit, especially when it comes to Prof. Malcolm, right? Shadi, if you go down further to the last slide that I have here, I would like everyone to think about the beauty tourism. I just give an example. In Malaysia, for example, there is what we call a health tourism. And this health tourism is directly under the care of the Ministry of Health. But because it has the tourism aspect of it, there you see the Ministry of Tourism are also play a role in promoting this health tourism. Now, if we look at the two ministries, Ministry of Health and Ministry of Tourism, immediately we would know the objective, all right, the primary objective of the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Tourism. Do we see the conflict, or do we see the synergy? All right, there is, and I will confirm with you there will be a complication, because how a Ministry of Tourism person see health tourism, and how a Ministry of Health persons see beauty of tourism, there will be a difference. And hence, I want to draw your attention to look at these two statements that I have made here. The difference between disease-motivated treatments and a non-disease motivated treatments. Now, these both comes under a health medical practitioner's care. But the person who received the treatments are two different persons. One require medical attention because it is disease motivated, because it has no choice that he needs medical attention. On another hand, we have someone, okay, who want to have a medical treatment, which is a non-disease based, which means that he just wants something better. All right, he is not a sick patient, he is not ill, but he is traveling on a leisure and vacation mode, all right, to get something better for himself. All right, so just imagine that if we have one person, one ministry is looking after just medical tourism, for example, would they be concentrating on disease, or would they be concentrating in non-disease motivated treatment type of tourism? Okay, so this tells us that there is already a contradiction here. All right. Another point to note is correction versus enhancement. Okay. So all these are actually telling us that the market in the world for tourists that we trying to attract, they are motivated separately, and we need to address this matter carefully so that we will have the right promotional, right channel, right distribution and media to attract the correct tourists to come to a respective countries for treatment. Until we correctly, I would term it, find a definition at the macro level, to focus on the correct market segmentations here, we will not be able to have the correct ownership of ministries or departments within the government, and to set the correct policy to help and on the growth and sustainability of the industry, and more importantly, to have a set of incentive or income distribution policy, all right, to make sure that the community benefited from this beauty tourism sector. That's very much what I'm trying to address here. And I would like to, with the permissions of Prof. Kazim and Prof. Makam, would like to introduce the former Secretary General of the Ministry of Tourism in Malaysia, Datuk Rashidi, to share his point of view and his experience in driving this particular initiative in the country of Malaysia. So
thank you. It's my turn now, Prof. Okay, thank you very much, Professor Dr. Wong. Okay, good Assalamualaikum and good afternoon, good evening to every one of you here in the webinar. Okay, my name is Rashidi. Actually, I'm former Secretary General from Ministry of Tourism, Art and Culture, Malaysia. Yeah. Okay, I would like to talk on the role of government in beauty and wellness tourism for the Malaysia experience. How actually we work together with industry player, especially with Professor Dr. Wong, to come up with a beauty tourism. Yeah. Okay. Next slide, please. Before I start, I just want to tell you the overview of importance of tourism in Malaysian economy. Yeah. For 2019, because I don't want to talk about 2020 because it's already in pandemic that time. The tourism industry a bit affected, so we want to tell you about the success story up to 2019. Yeah, so it is one of the key tools to boost economy in Malaysia. if you see, our tourism receipt was 20.5 billion USD, or in ringgit Malaysia 86.14 billion, with the international tourist arrival 26.1 million. Yeah, tourism contributed 13.3% to Malaysia GDP, and also contributed to 23.2% of total employment in 2019. This is good, a very good figure. Okay, next one, Shade. Next slide, please. All right. Okay. This is just want to inform. No. Before that, before the slide before. Okay. Our achievement. Yeah. 10 years achievement for Malaysia tourism industry. Yeah. Next one. The 10 years of remarkable achievement. All right. Malaysia actually, once in 2013, we are actually ranked number 9, the most visited country in the world. Yeah. In fact, after that also we still top 10. Sometimes we achieve rank number 12, number 13, but we still among the top 15 tourist, the most visited country in the world. Kuala Lumpur is the capital city of Malaysia, actually voted as 4th best shopping city in the world by CNN. Yeah, and then the beaches also, we have many beaches, and then some of our beaches became the top 50 in the world by CNN also. And then for Penang, one of the states in Malaysia, is a world 2nd best place for food vacation. Yeah, in 2017. And also Kuala Lumpur is our capital city, world top 7 most visited city in the world. Yeah, in 2018. This is among all the accolades that we achieved during 10 years from 2010 to 2020. Okay, next one. Just to highlight what actually making Malaysia very successful in tourism industry. Of course, yeah. Actually, Malaysia, we organized 4 Visit Malaysia year. The first one was in 1990, and then 1994, 2007, 2014. Malaysia 2020, but during pandemic we cancel it. Yeah. Other than that, we have also the big festival. We call it Year of Festival 2015, and we have the fabulous food hunt 2016, and then we have also Visit Pahang in 2007. Pahang is one of the states in Malaysia. Yeah. So this is among the celebration that we want to highlight Malaysia to the world. Yeah. Okay, next one. Talking about beauty tourism. Yeah. Then we are actually related to Malaysia Healthcare Travel Council, because in Malaysia in 2010 we came up with Malaysia Tourism Transformation Plan, or MTTP 2010 up to 2020. So under healthcare or medical tourism is one of the initiatives, yeah, under this MTTP. So when we talk about healthcare and wellness, actually it's beauty tourism is part of it. But during that time, beauty tourism, none of the ministry govern it. So that's why when Professor Dr. Wong approached me, he mentioned just now, he asked me a question, remember? So then we think beauty tourism can be part of our initiative under Malaysia Tourism Transformation Plan. Yeah, because under MTTP, Malaysia Tourism Transformation Plan, we have 12 initiatives, 12 EPP, 12 initiatives. So one of them is under medical tourism. So next one. So if you see under the Malaysia Healthcare Travel Council was established in 2011, the numbers of people visiting Malaysia for treatment, as mentioned by Professor Wong just now, is keep on increasing from 2011 up to 2019. You can see numbers of visitors or patients coming to Malaysia from 643,000 up to 1.2 million, people coming to Malaysia. All right, next one. For receipt, expenditure, revenue for medical tourism in Malaysia, this is in ringgit. From 2011, you can see 527 ringgit Malaysia, or in USD is about 125 million USD, increase every year up to 2019 to 1.7 billion ringgit Malaysia, or in USD 404 million USD. Okay, next one. So we can see the importance of health tourism in Malaysia, but that's why actually we want to include beauty tourism as part of initiative under healthcare and also wellness. Yeah, that's why when the private sector such as Professor Wong and the several industry players came and approached me, I feel it is very important for Ministry of Tourism and Culture Malaysia to take this initiative under our plan, under Malaysia Tourism Transformation Plan. That's why under the Malaysia Tourism Transformation Plan, we actually established Spa Council. You know, right? Spa is a wellness. Spa Council, we actually working together with Malaysia Spa Association, Ministry of Health, and also local authority. For example, in Kuala Lumpur, we work closely together with the Kuala Lumpur City Hall. Yeah, this is what we call it public-private partnership. We want to work together with industry players, but we tackle the NGO first under the Spa, under Malaysia Spa Association. That's why when I chair the meeting, you can see the picture over there. When I chair the meeting together with industry player and the Spa Council, then we call also Professor Dr. Wong to be part of us to present on the beauty tourism. Because in Malaysia at that time, we have roughly we have over 20,000 beauty salons in Malaysia, including the spa and also including the reflexology. So before that, none of the ministry actually take care of this industry. That's why Ministry of Tourism, Art and Culture Malaysia want to take initiative to govern this industry, because a lot of tourists from other country come to Malaysia other than sightseeing. They go for traveling, they go for ecotourism, they go for food and so on, shopping especially. They like to do treatment for beauty, reflexology, and also spa. So we see this is a very potential for Malaysia to take this as a tourism revenue. That's why Professor Dr. Wong's idea was very, very good to us, that we want to take beauty tourism as part of an initiative under Malaysia Tourism Transformation Plan. Yeah. So in 2017, yeah, we started, I think, engaging My Beauty under the Professor Dr. Wong to come up with something which can attract more tourists to come to Malaysia to do treatment, especially ladies. There are a lot of ladies coming to Malaysia, of course. They like to do shopping, especially because Malaysia, just now I mentioned, we are voted as fourth best shopping destination in the world after New York, London, and Tokyo. So Malaysia number 4 that time, in 2012. So this is good thing that we have to do. So that's why we have to govern all the beauty salon. We work together with them. We want to come up with a standard so that everybody giving the same treatment, same standard, so that they never, I mean, the tourists, if they do treatment in Malaysia, they cannot, I mean, they don't, we don't want to hear any complaint, especially the Ministry of Tourism. We are come up with a policy. We don't want any complaint on that. So we want the tourists come to Malaysia to do treatment, and then at the end of the day, the receipt will be higher in terms of tourism receipt. That's why, under Wawasan 2020, Vision 2020, myself as Secretary General of MOTAC, that time Minister of Tourism, Art and Culture Malaysia, together with Professor Dr. Wong, we come up with the idea to rising beauty industry standard. So this is good thing for Malaysia because at that time also we came up, with a package for sophisticated office lady package to come to Malaysia. We call it SOL, S-O-L. You know what? Actually, our aim, SOL, is this package actually to promote shopping to sophisticated office lady because they are, I think, they have money to travel. So at the same time, they can do treatment under beauty tourism. So, ladies and gentlemen, Malaysia beauty and wellness industry is very, very important for us to make Malaysia as destination for this. That's why Malaysia target for under this initiative was 6 million tourists arrival in 2020 at that time. But as you're well aware, in 2020 pandemic COVID-19, I think our target that time cannot be achieved. But of course, in 2019 we received roughly nearly 6 million tourists that time coming to Malaysia under that program, under the package that I told you, SOL, sophisticated office lady, and the rest also, we are actually approaching that number, 6 million tourist arrival for beauty tourism. So we hope after this, I think we can promote Malaysia as one of that destination for beauty tourism by having, next one, the next slide, please. Under channel where we can do it, we can promote beauty tourism via Tourism Malaysia global advertising through travel agency and of course mobile apps. Right now, I think nowadays mobile app is very, very important for us to promote tourism in any country in the world, including Malaysia. So beauty tourism can be promoted under mobile app. With that, thank you very much. I hope everybody can understand what actually important of beauty tourism in the tourism industry. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Rashidi. Thank you, Dr. Rashidi. Thank you so much for sharing. I think it is important that the audience today understand that how much care that at your time during when you are the Secretary General, giving a special attention to this industry and trying to bring the benefit of this industry by attracting the tourists internationally up to a targeted number of 6 million, and its impact to the community of beauty tourism in Malaysia. I think that's a wonderful initiative, and I appreciate. I openly thank you for that. But more importantly now is that we know that this does not only limit to the case of Malaysia, and we actually took the initiative. Thank you for first of all, Dr. Rashidi, by not just introducing this initiative to Malaysia. He also bring us to the ASEAN community, meaning that he actually put us within the ASEAN Tourism Council to share this initiative. And then at that moment, we realized that Thailand, Philippines, Indonesia, Vietnam, even Singapore come forward and tell us that we need this in this industry. And we have almost not overlooked, but they have not have a proper way of governing and promoting this particular initiative or industry. So we realized that, hey, this is not unique to only Malaysia, but actually potentially not just regionally, but also globally, will need a special attention for this particular industry, which is the beauty tourism. I again emphasize here one more point, that if we go to the Department of Statistics, especially when Dr. Rashidi have introduced this initiative as the Malaysian Transformation Plan, one of the initiatives under the Malaysian Transformation Plan, we actually went to the Department of Statistics of Malaysia and asked for statistics, numbers for this particular industry, beauty tourism. And surprisingly, and in fact I should say not surprisingly, there isn't much numbers that we can actually use, because for any policy or any budget defense, for us, I believe that we need the numbers, the statistics, to support our stance and to win over, some attentions or budgets, allocations, resources from the government for any promotional activities, or to take any special attention. But unfortunately, because of this lack of statistics number for specific to beauty tourism, or because of the proper definition of beauty tourism was not in a way established, I think it owes to this reason we were not able to. But fortunately, all right, we have someone, a leader in the ministry that take the initiative, even in the absence of some important statistics numbers to support the claim. Dr. Rashidi took it on, all right, I would say subjectively, and introduce this initiative. So that's and from then on, this initiative received some tractions and attentions, not just in Malaysia with all the NGOs and agencies, but also we received attentions from the ASEAN countries community. So without much delay, I would like to introduce Dr. Shadi Sayatis Mahandas to introduce us to one particular community of beauty tourism, which is CK Beauty, CK Bidan. She, as one of the case studies on the ground that we all can experience and see how this impact them, okay, as far as beauty tourism is concerned. So can I have the permissions to have Dr. Shadi to come along and join us. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Prof. Wong. Zohr Bekhair, Salamat Engahari, very good afternoon, Swadika, and Siwuha, and also Kuni Chiwa. I hope that I covered all the languages who are from our participants that are here. A very good afternoon for everybody who joins this webinar. This is my honor to be a part of this webinar to talk about beauty and wellness community. However, before I start my discussion, I just want to thank to all of the SCOT team who helped us to have this webinar and sharing sessions with all of you. Especially thanks to Prof. Kazem, Prof. Cooper, Prof. Jafari, Prof. And even my good friend, Dr. Mana, who is not here today, and my teams from our site in Malaysia. Special thanks to Dr. Rashidi, who I know him since 7 years ago. I really wish that most of the countries having such a wonderful, such a supportive civil servant that support the industry and community. I know him since I was a student in Malaysia, and he was always supporting, even especially when I was doing my thesis. He supports me a lot with his ministry and his heart actually for his country. I really appreciate. Terima kasih, Datuk. And last but not least, my group CEO, Prof. Wong, he put a lot of trust on me in the last 7 years, and I had a very great honors to be part of his team. So, ladies and gentlemen, today I am here, and I have this privilege to be a voice of the community from the beauty and wellness. So we want to be heard by the academics, by the government. So now I can see that we have this honor to have penalty numbers of the academics and also government servants, especially from Middle East, which I know. I just wanted to say that we want to be heard. I'm from the beauty and wellness community today. I'm acting on behalf of them since I did the research and also did a lot of works with this community in the last 4 years when we wanted to start this initiative under the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture of Malaysia. I tried to be slowly talking about that since it's very, very important for our community, and then let the very good translators who are working very hard today, which I really appreciate their works as well, to able for them to translate, since this is about them. So if you let me, I just share my screen. Okay. Is everybody see it?
Yes, Shadi.
Okay, okay.
Want
Sorry
to put
for
it on.
this.
Yeah, excellent.
Okay, okay. Sorry, today we have some technical matters that I don't know what's this scammers coming, but it's okay. I hope that I can be presented without those red colors drawing over my system. Okay, so as I said, I want to talk about this study, which we done it in the last 4 years. And later on, after my presentations, I want to show you the proof of this initiative after we conducted as a case study in Malaysia, and specifically in one of the companies, which is the leading of the beauty and wellness. One of the biggest, I can say, and I can claim that this is one of the biggest companies that doing this kind of the practices, which names CKB Dawn. So, okay. Okay. I wanted to share to everybody, especially my beloved community from beauty and wellness, the challenges which they face. When we called and wanted to start this initiative, the Beauty and Wellness Initiative under the Ministry of MOTAC, we did a research for almost 6 months to find their problems, specific problems. So we noticed that this initiative has a lot of problems. They don't have the recognitions. Nobody recognizes them. They have a shop, of course. They have a workers, of course, but they don't be recognized. They don't know which ministry they can refer to. Of course, in Malaysia, for your knowledge, as Dr. Rashidi also mentioned, that we have different associations, however, was not focusing in beauty and wellness from the tourism perspective. Secondly, management skill. This is what I always sharing with my students, that the skills of the management is much more even sometimes important than therapies skills. So our industry doesn't have this. They don't have the thirdly, which I can raise it, is the professionals staff. They don't have a professional staff. Of course, they have, because you know that Southeast Asia is a place that we have a lot of beauty and wellness shops in Thailand, in Malaysia, in Indonesia. But some of them, even they know that they have the knowledge of the skills, but they don't know the manners, some of the manners, which we call it in hospitality manners, that they need to know. They must to make sure that they don't have a customer, they have guests to serve. So this is very, very important that this industry knows about those important factors, especially for a tourist, because the tourist is those people who are coming to that place to receive a service. And much more important things is to be served well with a big smile. So this is very, very important. The fourth one, they don't have a proper governance, meaning that they don't know what to do first, what to do second, sometimes jumping from 1 to 5, 5 to 7, and this is a lack of this industry because never we learned about this. Another one is the lack of knowledge in product and services. They don't know about the product, whatever the marketer bring for them, or sometimes whatever they have a more commission, they want to select and use it, but they don't think about the effect of those products or even the services over the skins or body of the customers, or I can say that the guests. So this is very, very important. And I can say that lack of these international recognitions, lack of these promotions, the proper promotions to the world that they have this kind of the practices is very, very, very important part, which I found that this industry, this community, there are lack of these problems. So all this research was done with our team in Beauty and Wellness under the Ministry of Tourism of Malaysia, and by collaboration with University Putra Malaysia, which is one of the leading university in the research, that we found it that this is very, very important for us. So for the knowledge of everyone, we have around 26,000 beauty and wellness outlets in Malaysia itself. Imagine 26,000. And we wanted to serve the best to the guests. So what should we do? Are those shops are available for a tourist? Can tourists have a very good experience or not? This is all the challenges which we had. So in another hand, we have some challenges from the tourist perspective. So I already mentioned to you the industry challenges that they had. Now I want to say that the challenges which faced by tourists. What tourists want? We have a lot of people now in this webinar that I can know that they are expert in the tourism, especially from the ministry, different ministry that they are coming, especially Ministry of Tourism from Middle Eastern countries. So I just say that they're facing a problem because from the tourist perspective, if they come and doesn't be happy with one service, they are saying that this country is not good. I don't back again. this is not a place I want to spend my holidays anymore, isn't it? I think most of you agree with me that the tourist experience is very, very important, which will be allow them to bring them back. This is, we call it in the hospitality and tourism, that intentions to back and revisit the place again. So that's why this is very important that we look at it from the tourism perspective, especially now after this COVID. They are very concerned about the safety. So they want to make sure the place is safe in terms of there isn't any hidden camera there. There isn't all those things that, because they are there, they put their bodies actually over the trapeze. So they must make sure that they have a safety. The place already be sanitized, and then it's clean. They follow all the SOPs, all the cleanest practices. Then secondly, that they must to trust. How to trust? How can I know that this place is a good place? How can I trust this place when I am going there, I don't be hurt? And thirdly, a lot of time when the tourists traveling, they be overcharged. Then some of the outlets, I'm not saying that all, but some of them, when they say that white people or foreigner people are coming to this country, I can extra charges because they don't know the price. They are spending dollars, pounds, euros. So it's not much difference for them, but shouldn't be this happen. And sometimes the tourist is thinking that the products that they are using, the service provider is using, is fake. They're all already expired. And or they are not a good product, they are not be recognized with different authorities in that certain countries. They don't know where to, then they have this problem, where to refer. Okay, I am a tourist, I'm going to Japan, for example, then I'd be having a fantastic experience. What I do, I will share everywhere. I have a fantastic experience there. But if anything's happened for me, also I be sharing. But where to refer? How can I refer? How can I report my complaints if there is? Of course, if they're the only place, maybe I just going to some of the social medias like Instagram, tourist advisor or whatsoever, and just put the comments, but nobody taking care of me. So those are very, very important that we need, that the tourists are looking for it very well. So they want to make sure that all these, everything is in order and they are enjoying their time. Imagine, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to any service provider outlet, especially for the beauty and wellness. We want to be relaxed. We want to spend our time there to be more happy. But if those things doesn't happen, what's going to happen? I will be very angry and I want to do something. I don't back again to this country, this and that. So that's why we come out with this initiative, the Beauty and Wellness Tourism Initiative, to make sure when the tourists coming to that place, they are happy. So we managed to have this initiative in terms of that we make sure all of those members, they follow exactly the customer chart that we call it seal of trust. They don't be overpricing. Whatever services or product that's selling, for example, to the Malaysian citizen will be sold and will be served to any international tourists as well. Secondly, all the raw material, all the product, oil, facials, creams, body creams, or whatsoever, all are genuine and be approved. And then lastly, all this service be served with the qualified professionals, meaning that those people that they are giving me a service like a masseur, I think everybody is very familiar with these terms. They are be trained before. They know all of the proper ways, of how they want to provide these kind of the services. So this is what we did in the last 3 years. And we noticed this industry, all of the government's servants that you are here, all of the academicians that you are here, we want to be heard. We want you to look at this initiative as well. We need help to serve. As Prof. Wong also mentioned in his presentations, that there are a lot of opportunity for this industry to raise to booming and then bring bread over the tables of their family. If we give them some types of the recognitions, that they be recognized, especially in the tourism. We know that after the COVID-19, we have these problems that tourism be affected. Tourism is the industry that first be closed and last be opened. But look at it now, it's booming. We are assuming that this booming will be very, very fast and very, very aggressive. Everybody wants to travel. Everybody wants to be relaxed. Beauty and wellness as well. In Malaysia, since the pandemic, they closed, I can say, more than 1.5 years. They cannot do any business. They suffered so much. There are a lot of business be closed. But why? Because this business was a very sensitive business in terms of the eyes of the customers, all of the guests, all of the people that always going them to be relaxed. But now it's time. We want them. We really go and ask the academics, ask the government, ask the related associations to be hand by hand, give these terms, this new initiative to be successful. Without the power of the industry, academic cannot be very successful. And of course, for us as an industry, without you, we cannot be successful. So we noticed that this industry is needed to be uplifting with the international standards, because currently in a world, especially under ISO, under TC 228, that we have this privilege that a lot of them now, a lot of the members now in joining our sessions, we don't have international standards in beauty and wellness tourism. Of course, we have it in the wellness tourism, but we don't have it in the beauty and wellness as well. So we need to introduce these types of the practices to the world, especially to the tourists who are traveling to the different destinations, to be recognized these kind of the activities when they are on that particular countries. Of course, everybody going to Thailand, what they want to do, they want to go for a spa. What they want to use, they want to have fantastic foods there. Okay, why not other country, especially my beloved country, Iran. So we need, I can say that now I can be a little bit biased since I am Iranian. So I must tell that Iranian masseur, that there are a lot of them now over here, they need to be recognized. We now having, for example, Turkish bath, but we had it before in Iran as well. But because didn't be recognized well, now everybody say that Turkish bath and so on so far. So we must to have a genuine catalog to introduce the beauty products. We must to make sure that all the masseurs, all the beauty service provider, all of them be well trained. Not only the skill, I mean that the skill training like body massage, this and that, but also the hospitality and management skill. This is required for them. We must to allow the service provider to use of seal of trust, which I mentioned just now, that there isn't any overpricing. The product is the genuine, and then the service will be provided by right person in beauty and wellness. So we have, since after we did all this research, and then with the collaboration that we had from the Ministry of Tourism in Malaysia, we have this, when we come up with all the idea, we put everything together. This kind of the project doesn't need one people, doesn't need a group of people. We work I can say that we will without time limitations. We work days and nights to make sure that this one can be a successful model, because we don't know, because in academic work you have a theory, you make sure the theory is working, and then you implement. But we do it round. We implement first, and now asking for a lot of help actually from the academic side. But after we conduct this kind of the practices, we selected one of the pioneer beauty and wellness center, which is, I can say that this is CK Beauty, that they conducted this kind of the practices, and now they have a very, very happy masseur. They have more than hundreds of the masseur that they are working around Malaysia with all these proper governance that we give them some training and so on and so forth. I just say that they be successful. Why not others? Why not this kind of the practice be implemented in other countries? Why not? What's problem? I don't see a problem there. Since we call from other countries, like Southeast Asian countries, like Singapore, Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, and from the Middle East, Turkey, of course, my beloved Iran, and other countries to implement such practices. However, without the proper recognitions from the proper organizations and international organizations, we cannot do it. So I think I talked a lot. I hope that you don't be bored, you don't be overloaded from all of these figures and thoughts from all of us. I just wanted to be a good speaker from the industries. I think for those that they have questions, we can answer the questions after the webinar, after finishing all the talks. And also, that's all. Yes, for you, Prof. Qasim.
Thank you very much for your insight from the perspective of people who are doing the work with community, directly with the community, raising up the voice of community and showing what is inside out. Also talking about the problems and asking for thinking for the solutions together. We have heard a lot from the informative presentations about wellness and specifically about beauty tourism, the beauty treatment or beautification of body and mind as a process and as a tourism product which need organization and we need to be taken care of. If you let us, let's have a couple of minutes video, as it is the Scott custom, during which the audience also can grab their cup of coffee or hot tea. And after the video, we are coming back. The moderator, Professor Won, is going to have a question and answers. I'm going to also ask what I learned, if it is correct or not. And the audience also can send us their questions. And the end of the program will be given to Professor Cooper back again for a kind of wrapping up and giving us lessons to take home. And our bags will be ready for Malcolm's lessons at the end. So Shadi, can you share the video, please?
Okay, you just give me a second.
No problem.
Oh.
And in between, Professor Won.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Qasim. I think Shadi is going to play a video of this initiative, the Kickstart, by the Ministry of Tourism, led by Dr. Rashidi when he was the Secretary General. And being an academic myself, I think I can represent the academic by saying that it is our responsibility and duty to address this gap that we have, and we owe it to the society, the community, so that this industry will receive what we call the attentions and recognitions from the international organizations, regionally, as well as the government, so that there more care and more support will be given in the future. And so that's what I'm trying to address here together with my colleague. So Dr. Shadi, is the video ready?
Shadi, please
Yes.
make it about 2 minutes, please, that we have another 15 minutes and we want to hear the voices.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure. I just play one of the videos from our community, which is TK, to share with you about but this video, just to notice to everybody, that is in Malay language. The reason is that they are practicing a very professional Malay massage, which call it bidan, which is fantastic. And then they are sharing their funding. So I will try my best to translate afterwards the whole scenario, but I wanted to share with you about this, how is this one is important for the community.
Thank you very much. And please consider that we do not have a translation service for the video. So our translations, our translators can take a rest as well. Thank you, Shadi.
Okay, no problem. So I don't know, just give me a second.
Have you clicked the boxes?
Yes, I just
do not
wanted,
have the
this
voice.
is, I just, because it's in Malay or we don't have time, they are sharing their experience when they join this kind of the practices.
Yeah, I think what's important here is that we recognize CK Bidang as one of the largest service provider for the Bidang services, which is midwife masseur, okay, fall under the traditional massage of the Malay community. Under this initiative, there are about 1,000 over midwife or Bidang in this nature has benefited from this initiative. This initiative actually have tripled their monthly income and given them a very strong and supported, sustainable income, monthly income for them and their family. Just imagine that if this initiative is replicated to more sectors within the beauty tourism, how many people, community within these industries will benefit as long as there is recognition and acknowledgement from the authority. So it is very important that we make sure that any industry, any sectors do receive recognitions and support from the government and organizations whereby their well-being, all right, in terms of jobs and income will benefit. All these bidans that we see here, they actually is expressing how important and how this impact to themselves and their family as far as income is concerned. Thank you. And a lot of them are single mother, by the way. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Prof. Wong, for helping me for the translation. This is what we wanted to say about the project, how this kind of the project can help the community. Even there are single mothers, or even there are persons that brings a bread over the table. So they are benefited of this kind of the practices, which is very notable for all of us. I think that
if I add on here, I want to give a special thanks and acknowledgements to Dato' Rashidi. Your initiative actually helped near to 1,000 bidan. Most of them, some of them are single mother, and their income actually double to triple. That's how important. Some of them actually cried, for because of this initiative, and helped so much, so many of them. Okay.
Thank you, Prof. Wong. Prof. Kazem, can I play another video, or we want to go for?
I think we have only 10 minutes, so let's see. Shadi, please look through the chat and pick up some questions or classify them if you want to bring it in English to the floor.
Okay.
And I also would like to thank all the speakers. And my first question, if you let me to start with, is to Dr. Rashidi and Professor Wong, that as public and private sector, that you did a beautiful collaboration. What is specific in beauty tourism that it's not already covered in health and wellness tourism that you are specifically taking care of? Because as part of government, you have to set up maybe a new standard or regulations. In the private sector side, you are setting up standards. So how this standard and regulations for beauty tourism is more specific within the health and wellness tourism? I'll ask it from Dr. Wong, please.
You want me to answer or what wrong?
Dato', you can go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay,
first.
because since I was from government and then the initiative was under me, okay, when I see the importance of beauty tourism to attract a lot of tourists coming to Malaysia, because Malaysia, we have a popular for destination, like ecotourism, agro-tourism, education tourism, and so on, island beaches. But I can see wellness is one of the initiatives we put under the Malaysia Tourism Transformation Plan. That's why beauty tourism is not covered at that time. So only reflexology and also spa. But the beauty, like facial, do aesthetic for the face and so on, not covered at all. So I think this is very important because a lot of tourists coming. So the standard must be formed. That's why, as I said, under this initiative, we established the council, Malaysia Spa Council. So we expand a bit under Malaysia Spa Council, not only spa, but it's covered all other aspects of beauty, beauty tourism. So within this Spa Council under the government, chaired by me, by the Ministry of Tourism, then comprised of the Spa Association and the industry player, NGO, and so on, so that we came up with a standard. I think this is very important. We must come up with standards so everybody practice the similar standard. Otherwise, people go to one outlet, go another outlet, maybe they have a different treatment. So very important for government to take the lead and work together with the private sector to come up with the standard. Thank you.
Thank you, Dato'.
Maybe you want to continue? You want to add some more?
I just want to add in a little bit, since you touched about standard. In Malaysia, we acknowledge that, we have under the leadership of Dr. Rashidi, there's a health tourism council, for example. And of course, they cover a lot on the medical side of it, which is a disease-motivated travelers for that purpose. But the non-disease part is not being looked after. That's what we're trying to address here. So What's next that we can see? I just give an example. Yes, Malaysia is well known, for medical tourism. But when you are here, can I ask you, right? Which doctor, which clinic, which hospital that you should go? You do not know. All right. So that's why a proper governance, a proper representation is important. Let it be licensed or standard that is necessary for any tourist to come and feel comfortable when they walk in. And imagine that beauty industries are not governed, not represented. You come here and you do not know which one that you can trust. So that standard is so important. Validation is so important. That's why Dr. Shadi was mentioning about seal of trust. And this initiative under the ministry have come up with validation of all the service provider so that you can actually trust a brand and ministries that tells you that these are the individual shops or service providers that you can go and you can trust. That's important. And of course, for example, if you say Korea for that instance, all right, cosmetic surgery are very popular. Yes, you can go. But trust me, the moment you land in Korea, which one that you can trust? Which one that you can go? Are they all genuine? Are they all licensed? Are they all proper? You do not know which one. So that's why such an initiative, even though you have the reputation, but if you do not have the standard and governance, this industry will not be sustainable. Eventually, you will lead to a lot of malpractices, and fraud and a lot of unwanted incidences. Even we heard cases of people came to the country for beauty treatment and they died and they couldn't go home. All right, that's the kind of a black side of this industry. All right, so I hope that I have addressed some of it as Professor Kasim's answer.
Thank you very much, Professor Wong and Dr. Rashidi. I think you mentioned a very important point. However, I think if it's to be compared with medical tourism, which is plastic surgery, for example, there is a basic standard on medical service in any country. Like if you have a clinic, you should be certified. But in case of beauty tourism, if we separate it from medical or pure medical tourism, there might be less standard already. So there might be considered as more wellness. And again, it brings us to wellness tourism. So wellness and health tourism product that are under one umbrella. So if within this health and wellness product, except medical tourism, we are going to search for more focus on medical tourism. For example, if I'm a researcher, I want to know how medical tourism can be researched specifically, who I should or where I should search for it. Maybe we need kind of a more focus area to bring it up that show how this area of health and wellness tourism is authentic to itself and need to be more researched and more focused. Maybe I can ask Malcolm to bring some discussion in. Malcolm, we don't have much time, but yes, please.
Give me a couple of minutes. I can answer some of those questions.
Please.
All right. I need to share my screen.
Yes, please.
I can just do that, right?
You're full authorized.
Okay. Well, of course, I've got to find it now.
The green bottom on the yes.
There we are. Just let me get into this. Oh. Hopefully, I can do it. Everybody can see it.
Yes.
the important thing is that this is a great webinar because it comes with a message. It comes with a message that for providers, for governance, for clients, and it talks about solutions. There are in fact a lot of standards, and as Professor Kazim said, they're basically in the medical tourism area. I'd like to say to you that beauty tourism is part of a continuum. Medical tourism may be seen to be plastic surgery, cosmetic surgery, and so on, but that's only one end of the process. The wellness end of the process talks about mind, body, and spirit, as we mentioned before. Somebody said, what books? Well, here's a couple. Professor Kazim was involved in the one on the left with me and others, and the one on the right was in 2009, my first attempt at trying to understand the industry of health and wellness. So there are books. Please talk to us if you want. This is not a new phenomenon. Beauty is a composite field that covers basically the mind, body, and spirit. It's been around for a very long time. If you understand the histories, you can have the Pharaoh Cleopatra in Egypt a couple of thousand years ago, having a full range of cosmetics and using them. But the point I'd like to make here, and it follows with Professor Wong and Rashidi Sensei, media attention to this thing is at best unfocused and often quite negative, talking about why do people waste their time doing plastic surgery? You know, why do they have beauty therapy? It's a nothing. Okay, that misses the point. The point about mental and physical benefits from beauty therapy is just as much important as any other form of medical tourism or health and wellness tourism. We make decisions based upon it. It has now a significant economic footprint, as Professor Wong pointed out. But our understanding of it is not sufficient. And I think that's the point that's been made this afternoon. Its emotional effects are incredibly important. We know about the biological effects, but we don't know much about psychological effects. There is an organization now called the Global Wellness Institute, which some of you will have come across. It knows, and here is its statistics that Professor Wong used, it knows that this industry is important within the wellness area, precisely because it covers not just cosmetic surgery, but also psychological factors in understanding people's wellness. So I'd like to suggest to you that today showed that we're now in the throes of the next medical renaissance. Okay, we're moving away. Healthcare, wellness, and beauty therapy is learning to understand the need for science and standards and hold itself accountable. Our message tonight. But at the same time, healthcare, the doctor version, is beginning to borrow from wellness, turning a strictly curative industry, a reaction to illness industry, into a more holistic, life-oriented one. So I think tonight's webinar has shown that we're motivated to understand how best to use the link between beauty and therapy and wellness and health tourism. We've got to build the bridge that you talk about, but it is being built. And I've been involved since 2009 in trying to trying to do this. So we're very happy to talk to you all later on about how we might, as Professor Kazem said, how we might continue research and understanding. Okay, so that would be my short summary. Basically, it's been a great webinar because it looks at the real world and puts one part of that real world for people into the frame, rather than just criticizing it for something. You know, the word cosmetic is a bad one.
Yeah.
You know, another form of health intervention is much better, but cosmetic is derogatory. And that's the thing that, for me, was great this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Malcolm.
Thank you.
And very good. So your message is both, but more focusing on academic point of view. I still remember the book that I wrote with you on medical tourism, and it brought me more into the medical side of cosmetic or health and wellness. But yes, it's a very important area. It has not been, the potential is not reached. And we need more people and researchers to discuss, and we are going definitely to continue this discussion on the act of beautification. Humans are beautifully created, and these creatures are to beautify what they have, their environment, their mind, their body, their work, and whatever. And not only making this into beauty tourism, but also beauty itself as a subject of tourism, created nature-based tourism or any other type of tourism as well. So in this specific, yes, Malcolm, I think you want to say.
I'll make one more comment along your lines. Basically, if we acknowledge the fact, in Asia at least, that traditional medicine is very heavily based upon the things we're talking about this afternoon.
Yeah.
So TCM, Ayurveda, even yoga, and so on, it's all about mind, body, and spirit. And let's talk about beauty construction in the next webinar. Good.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we are almost reached our time, and 8 minutes passed. And I would like to thank all of you, especially Dr. Rashidi, Dr. Van, and Dr. Shadi, who brought up this important topic. We have people from many countries, over 90 people in the peak time were on Zoom. And I got the message from our Scott team that many people were watching us on YouTube as well. So thank you for all of you. And this is 40, the volume number 40 of Scott webinars. We have also 12 satellite webinars. So over 50 webinars has been collected in a video library that is free available for anybody. And usually due to the time and restrictions, we have to organize the webinar in the most convenient time zone of the moderator and people who are introduced by this group. And about or within 24 hours, the same number or more or less are going to watch us on YouTube. So those who watch this webinar after this, please write your comments on the YouTube channel, and we are going to take care of your comments and pass it on to the moderators. And we do value your good comments. A very a big thank from our curator that is not here, Professor Jafar Jafari, also to all of you. And I would like Professor Won to give us the bye-bye remarks. Professor Won.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kazem, especially for the advertising that you have for giving us. And Shadi, Dr. Amir, and of course, our respected for this opportunity to share a very meaningful and important initiative that's being driven by the ministry. And I believe that this experience gives a very heavy learning curve for us in the community. And I'm happy to note that both yourself, Prof. Kazim and Prof. People have given so much attention and written and researched so much on this area. And I hope that the world of academic and the major organizations take further notice and be serious. As in, there are thousands and millions of people are waiting to be heard and to be taken care of, as how Dr. Rashidi has brought forward this benefit of this ministry, this initiative to the community. So I hope that we don't these seminars on the topics that we talk about doesn't stop here. We hope that there will be subsequent initiative and how and further academic work be done so that we receive this tourism will receive the attention that it deserves. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, and see you all.
Prof. Kazim, I just give 1 minute. Just give 1 minute. Can I have 1 minute?
Yes, please.
Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry to take everybody's time. I just wanted to, because I'm receiving a lot of messages, especially from Iran side regarding of the, because we wanted to bring some of them to us, but however, our time frame was so less. I really apologize here. But for those that they are asking regarding of such a practices for the next sessions, please be in touch with us through our social medias. We will be inform you. There will be another sessions that we will be share more about this experience with all the practitioners, especially from Middle East. And don't worry, we are not going away. We are here. We want to serve you. If today also the translations and then some
thank you, Shadi.
Technical issues happen. This is very normal in nowadays world, but we hope that we're able to meet everybody in person soon, which will be happening, inshallah. And then we will be together in this initiative, and we will be give you more details through our social medias. I don't take much of this. I talk a lot today. Thank you so much. Thank you for everyone, especially Dr. Rashidi, Prof. Wong, Prof. Kazem, my good colleague, Dr. Rastanzadeh, and Prof. Cooper, and whoever that joining us. I cannot name more than 990 people, but I really appreciate from the spa associations that they are attending, Iran's spa centers, and so on. Thank you so much. Have a good day, and bye.